Ripley Willis Lee took a step over a severed hand. It still clutched a rosary, its fingers charred. Lee didn't want to know why a person had lost their hand, or how it had ended up here. He looked away as he continued to walk down the sidewalk, doing his best to push the image out of his mind. 3 blocks away, a hover SUV with tinted windows and a mounted .50 caliber machine gun drove past a group of children, kicking a crushed can over a shabby grass field. When the children glanced at the vehicle, they scattered. The SUV revved its engine and accelerated around a corner, disappearing from view. These days, if someone walked alone in Manzanillo, Mexico, they'd find themselves either dead under a bridge with their organs stolen or kidnapped for auction into slavery in the underground Perbudacan networks. Yet now, Ripley Willis Lee strode down those very streets. The city, also known for its drug trade and cartel presence, had a great view of the Pacific Ocean. Lee had to give it that much. As he walked down the broken sidewalk, the waves rumbled in the distance. After his Olympic gold medals in sharpshooting and yet another rejection from the military, he didn't care about playing it safe. Not anymore. The gig he'd drummed up down here in the slums would pay him the money he needed to help himself. Supposedly, the job guaranteed his safety, too. Lee touched the crinkled edge of the military rejection letter folded in his pants pocket. He remembered opening the email on his data tablet nearly a year ago. The words were burned into his mind. Disqualified from service due to retinitis pigmentosa, with visual acuity below acceptable standards. He'd printed it off and carried it with him wherever he went. When the paper would wear down, he'd print off another one. His eyes had failed him, the very tools he needed to pursue his military calling. Something needed to fuel his drive, and this letter did it for him. He'd sacrifice every luxury until he could afford the corrective surgery. Still, it didn't make sense. He was a perfect shot even with his eye problems. The gold medals proved as much. Lee fished out a plastic card from his other pocket. In dark ink, someone had scribbled his contact's address on the back. "I'm almost there," he thought. The narrow street stretched before him. He'd been on foot for almost 20 minutes, ever since the taxi driver had refused to venture further, saying something about this neighborhood being under new management. It was a thinly veiled warning that the cartel had recently muscled their way into this forgotten corner of the city. With a Higgs 92X compact pistol in his hand, he walked around a loose slab on the sidewalk. He halted to rest his shoulder against a building with a hanging sign above the entrance, the Calle Libertad, while he looked at the card again. Another 2 blocks. Before he'd made his way down to Mexico, his soon-to-be new boss had told him over a comm call to carry a weapon, though he'd promised Lee would be safe. Lee had taken the counsel seriously. In front of him, weeds burst through cracks in the uneven pavement. Bordering the sidewalk, rusted lampposts blinked. Stray dogs prowled the empty storefronts across the street, their fur dark against the flashing neon of a lonely cantina. This area is sketchy as hell.